Hi, I'm Kate. I'm a junior at Pitt, and this was my second mission trip to Christ in the City.
Hey, I'm Sam. I am a Pitt student, and this was my second year going to Christ in the City.
Hi, I'm Maura. I'm a junior nursing student at Pitt, and this was my first time at Christ in the City.
Hi, my name's Chelsea. I'm a junior here at the University of Pittsburgh, and this was my first time going to Christ in the City. So I was really nervous going into this because I had never done any type of homeless outreach. And it was almost that feeling of, like, maybe this wouldn't be for me, like it wouldn't be my thing, which was definitely, once I got there, totally erased, because really it's just being a person.
My name's Maddie. I'm a junior at the University of Pittsburgh studying marketing, and it was my first time at Christ in the City.
My name is Claire. I'm a junior at Franciscan University, and spring break this past year was my 5th time at Christ in the City.
Claire Miller, she is one of my best friends, and she went to Christ in the City our freshman year for spring break with the focus trip, and then she went back over the summer, and that next school year, so our sophomore year, we both came back from like good summers, but like learned a lot, and we were talking, and she was just like so fired up about this thing, about this crazy like mission of like going out onto the streets and loving people on the streets, and like asking questions about like poverty and asking questions about like who really is God.
The hardest moment of this trip was on Monday when I found out that one of my friends on the street had passed away. He was really well known amongst the missionaries, and since I had been on his street route the summer before, I had seen him every day in the summer. So that was really, really difficult to know that I hadn't gotten to say goodbye to him, and that I wouldn't be able to see him again. But at the same time, like, I was filled with so much hope for like the resurrection, because once that thought crossed my mind, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna get to see him again, it was like, no, that's not true. Like, I will see him again. I will see him in heaven. As much as there was a process of grieving, and as much as I miss him, his name's Ray Ray, so pray for his soul. I was really blessed to be with the other missionaries and blessed to be in a place of prayer where we offered mass for him, we offered an office for the dead for him, we were constantly praying for him, and we saw his other friends on the street and were able to be like a community of support for all of them.
Like, even though it was a crazy schedule and we would get up at like 6:30 in the morning, like our whole day was very intentional. And so like knowing that everything I was doing like mattered was really like restful for me.
My name is Alex Cross. I'm a senior at the University of Pittsburgh. I'm majoring in chemical engineering with a certificate in nuclear engineering, and this is my second time going to Christ in the City. I think the most difficult part of the trip for me, right, is society teaches us that particularly men are meant to like be the problem solvers. We're supposed to fix everything, and while that's a very it's the easy solution, right, to homelessness, of like, oh, just give them a home. For a lot of the chronically homeless, it's not that simple of an answer. At some point, the only thing you can really do to help people is pray, and try and be their friend, and kind of show them the love of Christ.
Hi, my name's Billy Snow. I'm a student at Pitt, and this was my first trip to Christ in the City. Wednesday, during the blizzard, that storm was crazy. And we were at I think it was a bus terminal kind of place, giving out warm meals to a lot of people that had gone there for shelter. And so I had given out a couple meals, and I gave one to this, I mean, he was barely older than us. I think he said he was only like 28 or 29. And I sat down and started talking with him, and during this conversation, it just kind of hit me that like, this can happen to anyone. Just to see these people in some of the worst conditions that they could be in, still having such a strong, solid resolve and faith in God that this is all part of his plan, this is okay, just was mind-blowing.
So on Wednesday, when there's usually the lunch in the park that we bring out to our friends on the street, there was like a blizzard that Denver was not prepared for, didn't have the infrastructure for. We were really worried about our friends on the street, whether or not they'd be able to find shelter, whether or not they'd be able to find food. We were worried that other food lines would be closed, and we knew our friends really depend on our lunch. So we just rallied. Us had blizzard material clothes, but we went out anyway and just walked the streets trying to find people. And eventually found a bunch of people holed up in the bus station, and were able to kind of have our community style lunch there in the bus station. And it was just a really beautiful perseverance, and just taking what the world throws at you and with the confidence of Christ going forward and loving and serving the poor. Something so unique about Christ in the City, it's a bunch of young adults living in community, guys and girls between the ages of 20 and 30 around, and they all love each other really well, and they all learn how to sacrifice for each other and build each other up. And it's always so edifying for me to go and meet the new missionaries and see their zeal for the mission. It always fires me up to come back and live my life intentionally, live my life focused on the Lord.
It was our first day on the streets, and we walked up to a homeless shelter, and we were just sitting with the people eating lunch there. We didn't speak the same language. He spoke Spanish, I don't speak any Spanish. His English was very limited, so we weren't able to actually talk, but he had a bunch of jewelry and charms and just laid them out on the table, and we just spent 30 minutes just looking at all of them and piecing through them, and he would hold one up and show it to me, get really excited. He gave me one of his little charms, and I wear it on my necklace, and it's really special to me.
One of their friends on the street that they've known for a while, and I met him my first day, and then I continued to see him each day after that. And on the last day there, we told him we were headed home, and he asked me and one of the other girls from Pitt if we'd like to be his pen pal, which was super awesome and amazing. And it was just wow, I've known you for 3 days, and I've made an impact on you, which was crazy. And it was almost how I had that fear of not being good enough, or just not being the person for the job. Was no, everyone is capable of loving other people.
Because it recognizes the dignity of each person, and I think most of the problems in society are from a lack of understanding that each person has the same exact value no matter where they come from, no matter what they've done. So I think getting back to the root of the problem is so important, and something that can be transferred not only for people on the street, but for lonely college students, for the unborn, for people to recognize that dignity and that worth of every life.
It's not just about the poor, it's about the poverty of the soul, and that's something that a lot of people in this world have abandoned. And we can give people money, we can give them shelter, but nobody ever bothers to give people their time or their trust. We've built so many walls around our heart that we don't get close to people anymore, and it's so easy to just send them a check.
You get right to the hard things with Christ in the City, but actually grappling with them is really important, but also it's really hard. I definitely was have been more and more convicted that Jesus is in the poor, that Jesus is in each one of us, which is really hard for me to wrap my head around, but I guess it's grace.
So I think it's so important to do this type of work, because Christ in the City is it's different than any other organization I know, where their goal is not to provide the physical needs of the individuals that they meet, but to provide the emotional and spiritual needs, so to just love them.
This trip taught me the value of the person in front of me, and like how they are a gift and that encounter is meaningful, even if they're just talking about what they have for lunch, that I should really offer them the gift of my presence and my listening to make them feel like known and heard. And that's something I love so much about this mission, is that it can happen in the classroom, it can happen on the street, or it can happen in my apartment. So I'm definitely going to try to take that back with me.
Well, thank you to everyone who donated for our mission trip. I think one of the most beautiful things about coming back from a mission trip, especially coming back from Christ in the City, is how equipped I think we become in living the Christian life. And a real blessing for me, having been trained by Christ in the City, is to know how to know and love and serve the poor, and to bring that to my community, to bring that to others who ask me or are curious, why do you do homeless ministry? And so that's only possible through the people that fund us, that donate to our fundraising pages. So thank you for being a part of the mission, and know that you're in our prayers.
Tell us a fun fact about Christ in the City.
All of the milk we drank was expired.
Did you get sick?
No, it was expired. You know, like on the label it said like, oh, this expired 2 days ago, but then it's still good. Like it's